Okay, so let us now start with this session, which we had talked about all the different, I told you that we'll be talking about 8 different personality traits which influence organizational behavior. So we'll be discussing what this trait means and then whether it is preferred to be having this trait or not in the organizational setup. So this is what we were discussing. Yesterday we had discussed locus of control. I'm just going through it once. Locus, as I told you, it is locus only, it is not focus. It is locus of control, and it refers to the extent to which people feel that they have control over the events that influence their lives. So whether you feel that yes, you can make a difference to whatever is happening in your life, is it under your control or not? That is what means what is meant by locus of control. And there are 2 types of people. There are internals and there are externals. Internals are the ones who feel that yes, things are under their control. Externals are the ones who believe more in destiny. They do not find themselves having much control over whatever is happening in their lives. So that is what we had discussed yesterday about locus of control. Let us move to the next trait. And we had also discussed that in the organizational setup, people with internal locus of control are preferred more, because definitely it would be preferred that those who feel they can make a difference, only they'll be working. The others may be, for everything they'll have an excuse. So that is why people who are internals, they are preferred in any organization. Now coming to the next one, and that is, the word is a little difficult when you see. It is known as Macwellianism. Macwellianism, right? Although the spelling is such that I always call it as, just to remember it in my mind, I call it as Machiavellianism, but it is not called like this. I only say that in my mind so that I am able to remember the spelling. So it is known as Macwellianism. Slightly difficult, but yes, I think if you speak it once or twice and get into this habit of whenever you find a difficult word, then get into the habit of going to Google, putting that word up, and you always have the pronunciation also there. So you can always go through it and try to pronounce it once or twice. So that will make your things much better. So it is known as Macwellianism. Now, what is this? What is this trait? Not a very good trait. Let us see what it is. Macwellianism refers to a personality trait which sees a person so focused on their own interests that they will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their goals. Now, what does that mean? A person who's high on this trait, जिसमें ये trait ज़्यादा होता है, such a person is very much focused on his own interest. मुझे जो चाहिए वो चाहिए, चाहे वो जैसे भी मिले. They will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their goals. That means if you feel that you should gain this, you should have this, you will do it by any means. You'll not see whether you are harming the others. So you may be pulling the others' legs in order to go up higher in the organization. So being a high Mac is not a very good trait. It may be making you successful to some extent initially, but it is never a very, very good trait, right? So try to understand. Machiavellianism refers to a personality trait which sees a person so focused on their own interests, they will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their goals. I could see some hands raised here. So if you have some question, I'll just see whose hands were raised so that I can just, if there are some questions or if there are some issues, let us see that. No, now I don't see that. Yeah. Agam and Jay. Jay, you have something to say? And then I'll come back to Agam. Yes, I have unmuted you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is it similar to selfishness?
Yeah, you can say this is being selfish.
Okay.
High Mac is an extremely selfish person, because for anything that person is ready to do harm to others, also manipulate things in such a way that this person gains what he wants, right? आपको अच्छे marks चाहिए, उसके लिए अगर आप कोई भी मीन्स अपनाओगे, अगर आप unfair means अपनाते हो, अगर आप कॉपी करते हो, so that means you're a high Mac, right? So that is what is meant by this. So you feel that anything is fine. वो कहा जाता है ना, everything is fair in love and war. अगर आप ये सोचते हो तो फिर then you are a high Mac, right? So let's come. Agam also has something to say. This is meant by Macwellianism. So there are people who are high Macs and there are people who are low Macs. उनको जो हाई मैक्वेलियनिज्म वाले लोग हैं, मतलब जो हाई मैक्स हैं, they feel that it is better to be feared than loved, right? They feel ठीक है, अगर मेरा काम जो है दूसरों को डरा के होता है तो चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं. So they feel that it is better to be feared than loved, and the ends justify the means. Now what does that mean? The ends justify the means. मतलब अगर end मेरे हिसाब से हो रहा है तो फिर कोई भी मीन्स अपनाओ. मीन्स मतलब प्रोसेस थ्रू विच यू आर गेटिंग द एंड्स. सो जैसे मैंने कहा ना कि अगर इफ सपोज यू फील दैट यू आर like you want something, so at the end if you are getting that, you are ready to do anything for that, right? So that is what is meant by ends justifying the means. Means matlab how you get something, and ends is what you get. So if you get what you want, then how you get it doesn't matter for these people. So that is why high max are such people for whom they are only interested in what they get, not in how they get it, right? That is one thing. Now coming to the next point, which is low Macwellianism. So low max jo hote hain, the loyalty and relationships matter for them. So for them it is like, if I wish to gain something, I cannot do that like by suppressing the others. I have to do things keeping the others also into consideration. Other people's opinions matter for them, right? So it is better to be a low mac than a high mac. High macs may gain a little faster, but they do not remain there for a long time, right? In any position, because the others come to know about their intentions and things like that. So this is what is basically this Macwellianism. So high macs, जिनमें ये ट्रेड ज्यादा होता है उनको हाई मैक्स कहा जाता है, जिनमें ये ट्रेड कम होता है उनको लो मैक्स कहा जाता है, right? Now again I would want you to let me know that what do you think, high max and low max, which will be more preferred in any organization?
Low.
Low max definitely, right? High max से organizations थोड़ा सा बचना चाहती हैं और find out करना चाहते हैं कि whether like those who are high max, they should be actually known to the organizations well in advance, because they can do more harm to the organization than good. They may initially seem to be very competitive, but अगर वो दूसरों को नीचे करके अपने आप को ऊपर ला रहे हैं तो in the long run वो organization के लिए बहुत अच्छे नहीं होते लोग. So that is why high max are not much preferred, and it should be the organizations look for it कि कौन high max है, and अगर structured है चीजें तो फिर high max ज़्यादा flourish नहीं कर पाएंगे. अगर ऐसा है कि हाँ किसी को प्लीज करने से आप को प्रमोशन मिलता है तो ऐसे में हाई मैक्स बहुत आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर बहुत स्ट्रक्चर्ड हर चीज है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में तो हाई मैक्स ज्यादा नहीं चल पाते वहां पे. सो दिस इज समथिंग अगेन Macwellianism. I hope you are clear with what is meant by it. High max and low max. High max are not much preferred. Low max are the ones who will be preferred more within an organization. Now let us come to the next one. Next trait is which one? I can just see here, self-esteem. I think ये काफी हद तक आप लोगों को ये सुना हुआ होगा पहले आपने. So let us try to understand what is self-esteem. Self-esteem is an individual's subjective evaluation of their own worth. Let us try to understand the meaning. Subjective evaluation मतलब उनके खुद के opinion के हिसाब से उनका worth क्या है, वो self-esteem होता है. If you feel that yes, you are capable, if you feel confident of yourself, you have a high self-esteem, right? But if आपको ऐसा लगता है आपसे नहीं होगा, कोई भी काम है आपको कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता, inferiority complex रहता है, तो आपकी self-esteem बहुत high नहीं है, right? So this is a person with a high self-esteem. So you can always feel that if you are confident and if you feel that yes, I can do anything that comes my way, then I have high self-esteem. So I hope you also will be able to know whether you have a high self-esteem. People should be having high self-esteem, and a person with low self-esteem will be not a very like always thinking nahi yaar मुझसे तो नहीं होगा, कोई भी काम दिया जाए, they're not very happy doing that work, and they're not very confident whether they'll be able to do it or not. So that is what is meant by high and low self-esteem. Think about it now. You can raise your hands if you wish to. Think about it, people. What kind of people, with high or low, what will be preferred in an organization? अगर
हाय।
तो हाथ जो है वो उठा ही हुआ है तो मैं उससे नहीं पूछती हूँ। आयुष है, धैर्य है, और कोई है? आयुष कई बार आंसर देता है, और लोग भी आंसर दे तो अच्छा लगेगा, राइट? सो विच टाइप ऑफ पीपल वुड बी प्रेफर्ड एंड व्हाई? Dev, okay, let me ask you. Then I'll ask Mitali the next one. Yes, Dev, I've unmuted you. Self-esteem high or low, what would be preferred in organizations? Dev, I have put you on unmute. Okay, Mitali, I have unmuted you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
High esteem.
Okay,
High
but why?
self-esteem.
Why would a person with high esteem be preferred more than a person with low esteem?
Ma'am, because he or she can capable of doing anything. He has the confidence to do everything.
Yes, yes. People with high
Yes, ma'am.
self-esteem are always preferred in an organization, right? Low self-esteem, it's not that sometimes there may be certain things that may lead to low self-esteem within the organization. Lekin, organizations must see to it that people with low self-esteem, their confidence should be boosted up so that they are also able to work better. And it is mostly seen that जो high self-esteem वाले लोग होते हैं, वो ज़्यादा productive भी होते हैं, क्योंकि they are confident of themselves and so they work very well, right? Okay, so coming to the next one now. Next is self-monitoring. ये शायद नहीं पता होगा आप लोगों को. So what is meant by self-monitoring? Let us try to understand that. It's not that difficult. Self-monitoring क्या होता है? Self-monitoring is a personality characteristic that makes an individual pay closer attention to a situation, social situation, so that they can change their behaviors to fit that situation. Try to understand. Self-monitoring. It is a personality characteristic that makes an individual pay closer attention to the social situation so that they can change their behaviors to fit that situation. इसका मतलब जो सेल्फ मॉनिटर्स, हाई सेल्फ मॉनिटर्स होते हैं, वो सिचुएशन को भांप लेते हैं, समझ लेते हैं और उसके हिसाब से अपने आप को चेंज कर सकते हैं. कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं चाहे किसी भी सिचुएशन में हो वो चेंज नहीं हो सकते, वो जैसे हैं वैसे हैं. मैं ऐसा ही हूँ, right? मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, मैं वैसा क्यों हूँ, वो है ना गाना. So there are certain people who are who cannot change according to the situation. But there are certain people who can easily fit. आप जब अगर आप अपने टीचर से बात कर रहे हो तो अलग तरह से करोगे, आप अपने फ्रेंड से बात कर रहे हो तो आप अलग तरह से करोगे, पेरेंट्स से कर रहे हो तो अलग तरह से करोगे, और जब आप सड़क पे हो तो अलग तरह से बिहेव कर रहे हो. घर आप क्लास में बहुत से लोग होते हैं जो क्लास में भी सड़क की तरह बिहेव करते हैं. So that will be, those are not high self monitors. So high self monitors situation के हिसाब से they can change themselves. I hope you can understand that. They understand the social situation and they can change themselves. So if we talk about that, high self monitors, if you can see this, I put these pictures so that it becomes easier for you to relate to it. ये इस पिक्चर का मतलब ये है कि they can change their caps easily. That means they can adjust to the situations. जिस situation में गए उसी तरह की टोपी पहन ली. Okay, so high self monitors easily blend into social situations, knowing what to do or say with each person. हर के साथ कैसे बात करनी है आप वैसे बात कर सकते हैं. So that is what is meant by high self monitors. Whereas low self monitors prefer to be seen as they really are. वो जैसे हैं वैसे ही ठीक है, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता दूसरे मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, मैं जैसी हूँ वैसे ही मैं एक्ट करूंगी. आपने बहुत से लोगों को ऐसा देखा होगा, उनको गुस्सा आ जाता है, फिर आप अगर उनको समझाने की कोशिश करें तो वो क्या बोलेंगे, don't try to change me, I'm like this and I'll remain like this, right? There are many people like that. So those are low self monitors. Now what kind of people may be preferred in the organization, high or low self monitors? Try. Yes, some people are raising hand. Yes, Jen, I have unmuted you.
Ma'am, high self monitor person are.
Yes, why would a high self monitor be preferred more?
Because they can blend themselves in any situation. So
Yeah.
कुछ problem हुआ तो वो easily blend हो जाएंगे.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right here. Fine. Next one, which is risk taking. Most of you know this, what is meant by risk takers, right? There are certain people who are high risk takers, certain people who are not very high risk takers. Okay, so risk taking का मतलब क्या होता है? सबसे पहले let us try to understand that. Risk taking is any consciously or unconsciously controlled behavior with a perceived uncertainty about its outcome. Now what is meant by that? इसका मतलब ये होता है, रिस्क टेकिंग का मतलब जब आपको पता नहीं है कि आउटकम क्या होगा, there is an uncertainty about the outcome, even then you can consciously or unconsciously control your behavior. That means you can act even in the times of uncertainty, then you are a high risk taker. जब आपको आउटकम नहीं पता है, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, जो लोग म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, शेयर्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, वो लोग हाई रिस्क टेकर्स होते हैं. जो एफडी में करते हैं वो नहीं होते, राइट? इसका क्या मतलब है? क्योंकि आपको एफडी में पता है कि हाँ भाई इतना तो मिल ही जाएगा हमें, सो यू आर श्योर अबाउट द आउटकम. Whereas when you are investing in shares or in mutual funds and all these, then you are not very sure about the outcome, right? So uncertainty ke bawajood, if you are able to act, then you are a high risk taker. I hope that is clear to you. Now coming to high risk takers and low risk takers. High risk takers have a sense of adventure and they want to try out new things, right? जो high risk takers हैं, definitely they may go for adventure, whereas नई चीजों को ट्राई करना लो रिस्क टेकर्स के लिए मुश्किल होता है. A high risk taker doesn't need the same level of proof or time to think things through than a more cautious employee would. मतलब वो कोई भी high risk taker जो है वो ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेगा कुछ डिसाइड करने के लिए, क्योंकि एक cautious employee जो इतना ज्यादा high risk taker नहीं है, that person would take a lot of time, will weigh out things and then only will take a decision. So high risk takers कभी-कभी थोड़े impulsive भी होते हैं. That is one thing. Okay. Now I would again want you people to try out and tell me that whether high risk takers will be preferred or low risk takers will be preferred in any organization, are more preferred in organizations. Okay. Yes. The reason for that?
Ma'am, because if organization is moving from any critical situation, then the high risk takers can take the risk and then they can boost up the organization.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I can also see Himani. Can I just put you on unmute? Himani, you are unmuted.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You can put your video on and then you can just tell. What do you think?
Ma'am, high risk taker.
Okay. The reason?
Because they can go with any situation, any ups and downs they can go.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. I have something else to say here. Dave, do you have anything else to say? Here, I've unmuted Dave also. Yes. What do you think? Dave, I've unmuted you. तुम्हारे साइड से शायद कुछ माइक में प्रॉब्लम है. I've unmuted you, Dave. Right? Now, Ria, last this one. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, Dave. Okay, you can say that. Okay.
मैम लो रिस्क टेकर्स.
Okay. Why?
मैम वो लोग सब पैरामीटर्स चेक करते हैं, उसके बाद कोई चीज का डिसीजन लेते हैं.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. What about you, Ria? What do you think? I've unmuted you.
Ma'am, I think low risk takers will think about everything, all the consequences, what will happen if they make the decision.
Fine.
They will think
Fine.
twice and
Okay.
about
And then one last one, Mitali, I'm asking you also.
Ma'am, even I'm a low risk taker.
Okay, you also think that it is low risk takers because they weigh out things more. Okay, let me come back to this. This was something which was good that you people had your own opinions. Now let me come to this. And this point had to have different opinions because in any organization, it depends on the type of organization which is there, right? The type of work you are doing, whether a high risk taker would be preferred or a low risk taker. Think about a stockbroker, right? A person who's working with stocks. वहाँ पे अगर low risk taker है तो फिर वो काम ही नहीं कर पाएगा क्योंकि उसको risk लेना पड़ेगा. एक entrepreneur है is always a high risk taker because you never know when you're starting a business how that business will go. A person with a very low risk taking attitude will not be able to start a new business at all. So there it is not. But now think about एक doctor, अगर वो high risk taker हो गया तो क्या होगा? चलो ट्राई करते हैं इस वाले पेशेंट पे. नहीं हो सकता ऐसा, right? So that means there are the professions, the kind of work that you're doing, it depends on that whether a high risk taker would be preferred or a low risk taker would be preferred. I hope that is clear to you. That is why we had different opinions here. I'm happy that there were different opinions because I could see that you are understanding things, right? Next point is type A and type B personalities. Very very simple things. Now think of these questions yourselves. अभी कुछ questions आएंगे, अपने आप से सोचो कि इन questions के आपके लिए answers क्या हैं. Now the first question is, do you feel guilty if you use a spare time to relax? जब खाली टाइम होता है तो क्या आप रिलैक्स करने में you feel guilty about it, so you think about it for yourself, right? Then the next point, do you need to win to enjoy a sport? अगर आप नहीं जीते, even if you are playing लूडो, अगर आप नहीं जीत रहे हो तो आपको बहुत मजा नहीं आता खेलने में या ऊनो खेलने में, right? So think of it. Then coming to the next point, which is, do you generally move, eat or walk fast? हर चीज जल्दी जल्दी करते हो या फिर आराम से करते हो, थोड़ा टाइम लेके करते हो? Think of that, right? And then you have the other thing, which is, do you often try to do more than one thing at a time? एक ही चीज नहीं, बहुत सारी चीजें एक साथ या एक से ज्यादा चीजें एक साथ करने की कोशिश करते हो, right? Why I have put these questions to you, because these answers to these questions will try to answer the question whether you are a type A personality or a type B personality. अगर इन सब के answers आपके yes हैं, तो chances are that you are a type A personality, right? Type A personality, उस तरह के people जो हैं वो क्या उनका क्या होता है? What are the type A personality people? What is their generally what do they do? Let us try to understand that, right? Type A people, they are more competitive, they're ambitious, impatient, aggressive and fast talking, right? जो लोगों को हमेशा टाइम की कमी लगती है, ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं अभी टाइम नहीं है, I have to do things very fast. They always feel that no, they don't have time, they have to be very very like very competitive, very workaholics होते हैं type A. They are a threat to their own self. वो खुद की हेल्थ के लिए भी थ्रेट होते हैं, लेकिन अदरवाइज दे आर क्वाइट प्रोडक्टिव पीपल. व्हेन इट कम्स टू टाइप बी पर्सनालिटीज, शुरू में ऐसा लगता है कि ये बहुत ज्यादा लेजी काइंड ऑफ पीपल हैं, राइट? बट द फैक्ट इज दे आर नॉट लेजी, दे जस्ट द थिंग इज दे आर कंपोज्ड, काम एंड कंपोज्ड, राइट? आपको इससे ये समझ में आएगा कि हाँ टाइप ए हैं आप या टाइप बी हैं. जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट. अगर आप घर पहुंचते हो और घर पे पहुंचते ही आपको ऐसा लगता है, अगर आपका बेड या जो भी जगह जहाँ पे आप टाइम स्पेंड करते हो वो बिखरा हुआ है और आप पूरे दिन की थकान के बाद पहुंचते हो, अगर आप पहले उस बेड को सेट करके और फिर आप उस पे बैठ के रेस्ट करते हो तो फिर आप टाइप ए हो. और अगर आप पहले आराम से रेस्ट करके उसके बाद सोचते, जैसे मेरे साथ क्या होता है कि if I come back home and then I see that okay the bed is all scattered and all, so no problem, I'll just put the things, shift them to one side, I rest for 5 minutes and then I think okay अब साफ करना है कि नहीं करना है. So that I am a typical type B person, right? I'm not a type A person, because type A person is always जो करना है वो पहले करेंगे उसके बाद. So they sometimes are a threat to their own health because they're always working, always thinking of next क्या, और ये भी करना है वो भी करना है. Yes, type, but it has been seen. Okay, now what about the organizations? In an organization, what kind of people would be preferred? Type, yes, Mitali.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of personalities do you think will be preferred? A type A or type B?
Ma'am, it can be both. Like some depends on the organization.
Okay.
मतलब अगर कोई ज्यादा एग्रेसिव है तो वो काम उतना कामली भी नहीं हो सकता, लाइक बहुत गड़बड़ हो सकती है काम में.
Okay.
एंड इफ दे आर इम्पेशेंट देन लाइक मतलब फिर वो काम भी उतने अच्छे से नहीं होगा, लाइक कंप्लीटली बहुत ज्यादा घाय घाय में रहेगा तो वो परफेक्टली भी काम नहीं होगा जो टाइम पे होना चाहिए.
Okay.
तो आई थिंक लाइक दोनों पर्सनालिटी इज इम्पोर्टेंट इन
Fine.
पर्सन.
Okay. So the next one I could see अभी जैना नहीं बोल रही शायद. जैना, you're the same thing you wanted to say, or is it something else? Can I unmute you? Yes. Yes, Jana.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with Mitali only. I have same
Okay.
opinion.
Preet, you want to say something? I've unmuted you.
Ma'am, I want to say that. It's like if the company startup, then type A would be more better.
Okay.
First for building the reputation.
Yeah.
And for gaining competitiveness.
Yeah.
For shaking the already settled companies.
Fine.
And if the companies means almost like settled enough and in a smooth flow of work,
Yeah.
then type B would be more preferable.
Okay, fine. So there are different, that means both type of people are preferred. Let me also again come back to this. Type A and type B people, again, because type A people are highly workaholics and they are highly productive people also. They are preferred, and especially in jobs which need aggressiveness, right? Sales personnel have to be type A. They cannot just relax and, right? So they need to be going out and then doing things. But it has been found that mostly at top positions or higher positions, type B people are more preferred because their decisions are very important. They can't take impulsive decisions, because if they are taking very impulsive decisions, that may have a long lasting impact. So type B people normally reach higher positions. Type A people reach get promotions faster, but type B people reach higher positions more. So that is one thing that I would like to. Now coming to the next one, the next trait which we have to talk about, that is narcissism, right? Narcissism is what? Let us try to understand. Narcissism is basically characterized by a huge sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others, a need for excessive admiration, and the belief that one is unique and deserving of special treatment. Right? That means narcissists किस तरह के लोग होते हैं जो जिनको बहुत importance चाहिए. People who are craving for importance. They're always looking for attention. Okay, so narcissists, again I'm reading this thing, narcissism is characterized by huge self-importance. वो समझते हैं कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा important हैं. Like if you see this picture, why this picture? Because out of all the others, this person feels that yes, he is the most important, right? And he should be seen differently. So that is why sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others. दूसरों के लिए empathy नहीं होती. Empathy मतलब being able to think like for the others the same way as they are feeling. दूसरों के पर्सपेक्टिव को समझ पाना, वो नहीं होता इन लोगों में. A need for excessive admiration, उनको बहुत ज्यादा admiration चाहिए. उनको ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो कि उनको हमेशा admire कर रहे हो, उनको praise कर रहे हो. अगर आपके बॉस इस तरह के हो जो कि narcissist हो, so आप उनको please करने के लिए बस उनको every time you keep on praising that person will be very, very happy. So such kind of people who need admiration all the time, and the belief that one is unique and deserving of special treatment. These people feel that they deserve special treatment. They feel that they are better than the others and they should be treated in a different way. So that is what is basically narcissist character, right? So this is narcissist. The point about narcissists is that narcissists are preoccupied with their own success. They keep on telling, आपने बहुत से लोग देखोगे जो अपनी success stories बताते रहते हैं. उन्होंने कोई थोड़ा सा भी छोटा सा भी काम किया हो तो वो बहुत बताते हैं कि भाई देखो मैंने ऐसा किया था. ये like औरों से नहीं, उनको लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा काम है, छोटी-छोटी चीजें भी. So they need special attention. They need that people should be praising them, even sometimes when they are not that much talented. But they need that kind of a praise always. So that is what narcissists are. Okay. Now coming to authoritarian personality, characterized by extreme obedience. मतलब वो बहुत obedient होंगे अपने seniors के लिए, and unquestioning respect for and submission to the authority. जो अथॉरिटी है उसको अनक्वेश्चनिंग रिस्पेक्ट, कि वो बड़ा है, वो हायर पोजीशन पे है तो उसको रिस्पेक्ट करना ही है. एंड सबमिशन टू द अथॉरिटी मतलब जो भी कहा जाएगा वो करेंगे. ऑफ अ पर्सन एक्सटर्नल टू द सेल्फ मतलब उनके अलावा जो उनसे सुपीरियर हैं. विच इज रियलाइज्ड थ्रू ऑपरेशन ऑफ सबऑर्डिनेट पीपल. और इसके लिए वो रेस्पेक्ट सुपीरियर की करते हैं, इसलिए वो ये चाहते हैं कि मेरे जो सबऑर्डिनेट्स हैं वो उसी तरह से मेरी रेस्पेक्ट करें, इसलिए वो उनको ऑप्रेस करते हैं. ऑप्रेस करने का मतलब ये है कि दे विल अननेसेसरली बी गिविंग देम ऑर्डर्स एंड दे वुड सी टू इट दैट दीज ऑर्डर्स मस्ट बी मेट. सो अथॉरिटेरियनिज्म को बहुत अच्छा नहीं माना जाता है, because they do not take any advice from the others. They feel that नहीं, छोटे लोग मतलब जो मुझसे सबऑर्डिनेट हैं वो मुझे एडवाइस नहीं कर सकते. And they don't give advice. Even if they have a good idea, they will not be telling their superiors, because they feel that नहीं, जो superiors ने कह दिया वो तो करना ही है, और जो मैं कह रहा हूँ वो मेरे subordinate को करना ही पड़ेगा. So बहुत एक rigid सी situation होती है जो authoritarianism. These people again are not much preferred in the organizations, right? So that is another thing. Blind allegiance मतलब obedience to conventional beliefs about right and wrong. क्या सही है क्या गलत है, जैसे जो कहा जा रहा है, जो रूल बुक में लिखा है वो, these people again are not much preferred in the organizations, right? So that is another thing. Blind allegiance, allegiance मतलब obedience to conventional beliefs about right and wrong. क्या सही है क्या गलत है, जैसे जो कहा जा रहा है, जो रूल बुक में लिखा है वही किया जाएगा। अभी जैसे ये सिचुएशन है, आप इस टाइम कोरोना की वजह से प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन अगर रूल बुक में लिखा है कि आपको कॉलेज में आके और साइन करना पड़ेगा तब आपको कुछ मिलेगा, अगर ये कहा जाए कि नहीं ये तो रूल बुक में लिखा आपको आना ही पड़ेगा, तो ये अथॉरिटेरियनिज्म वाली बात हुई, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी स्ट्रिक्टली दे विल फॉलो रूल्स विदाउट इवन कंसीडरिंग स्पेशल सिचुएशंस। सो दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय authoritarianism. Again, not a very good trait. Mostly इसको अच्छा बहुत नहीं माना जाता है।